Yo. Welcome to Into the Pit. I'm Hellhound.
I'm Dr. Gutts.
Today we're going to talk about our top 5 favorite guitar duos. So, obviously if a metal band has only one guitarist, obviously they're not going to be on the list. A lot of my favorite guitarists aren't going to be on the list for that reason.
I tried to shoehorn in Dimebag Darrell and Dimebag Darrell,
right.
but he wasn't having it.
Randy Rhoads and Randy Rhoads. Tony Iommi and Tony Iommi. Alright, but well, let's go ahead and begin. The thing is, we're each going to give our top 5 lists, starting with number 5. And the thing is, we actually both have the same number 5 slot. So our 5th favorite guitar duo would be Kerry King and Jeff Hanneman from Slayer. And we're actually going to be seeing them in 9 days in concert with Anthrax, Testament, Lamb of God, Behemoth. Can't wait for that. Video on that coming soon.
It'll be my 5th time seeing them.
Yeah, it'll be my 2nd time seeing them.
And I think we discussed this already, but we're actually going to do a video afterwards for you guys discussing the concert and really talking about it and
about our experience,
giving our thoughts about it. So
sure.
It should be killer. It has potential to be the best concert ever.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be sick.
In my opinion, at least, and we'll see. I think it's
really
going to be a good one.
excited to see Anthrax and Testament too.
Absolutely.
And Behemoth. But anyway, the thing about Kerry King and Jeff Hanneman, I know a lot of like elitist guitarists and metalheads say, oh, they lack lead guitar playing, their solos are sloppy. You know what? I don't care. I think it's part of their sound. The sloppy solos of Kerry King have become like a signature, like staple of their sound. It's part of Slayer. I think it makes them unique. And I like their solos and their riffs, man. They have some of the most creative riffs this side of Black Sabbath. I mean, come on. I mean, some of the best, most memorable riffs I've ever heard. Great. I think it's great lead playing, especially from Jeff Hanneman.
I would definitely agree, and I think
both of them are great together. I think they were made.
They wouldn't work with like brilliant, like virtuosic leads.
Yeah,
because the thing about their solos is they're very chaotic solos.
Yes.
That goes along with very chaotic
music. It fits their sound
music.
perfectly.
Right.
Yeah.
They're an incredibly fast band, like one of the fastest, one of the heaviest bands of all time. One of my all-time favorite bands. They're probably my 3rd favorite band ever, behind Death and Demolition Hammer.
Yeah. They're in my top 5
and
for sure.
I love Slayer to death, and Kerry King and Jeff Hanneman, in my opinion, are 2 metal gods.
Hanneman, rest in peace.
Absolutely. I've seen them live with Hanneman, and he put on one hell of a show. King always kills it. They're like Hellhound said over here. The riffs, man.
It's all about the riffs.
They have some of the greatest riffs known to man.
Absolutely.
I mean, literally, think about like
some of the best
Rain and Blood album, right? You can literally just like throw a dart and you're gonna find one of your favorite riffs of all time. That's how that album works. That's why that album's the thrash Bible.
For sure.
It's so good.
Soundtrack to hell.
Everything that they did was just pure brilliance, pure aggression, speed, just intensity to the fullest. And on top of that was just heavy. They managed to stay heavy while playing incredibly fast, and that's really awesome in my book.
And I love their solos. I think they're underrated. A lot of people just dismiss them as jerking off the whammy bar or whatever, but I think they sound great. I mean, I think they're
jerking off the whammy bar.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a huge staple of Slayer sound, and like the sloppiness kind of adds to it. It's consistent with the music. I think it kind of
that whirlwind.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's insane and it's brutal. It's violent sounding. It goes perfectly with
one thing. I don't think people give Slayer enough credit for is their transitions. And most of them have to do with the guitar work.
Exactly.
There's a transition in Angel of Death to like the interlude mid-break part, which is, in my opinion, one of the coolest transitions in any song ever. And I think that's something that King and Hanneman did very well together.
Sure, yeah. But mostly the riffs and the compositions, and just I think they're very underrated. I think they're very overlooked. Every time I talk about Slayer with other metalheads, especially other guitarists, they're like, "Oh well," I was like, "What?"
Yeah, but that being said, if you show me a metalhead who doesn't love Slayer, I'll show you a non-metalhead.
Yeah, I'll show you a person.
Slayer, they're one of the greatest of all time.
Absolutely.
And you want to go ahead with your number 4?
All right, yeah, that's right. Slayer rules. But yeah, my number 4 would have to be, I'm going to go with Marty Friedman and Dave Mustaine from Megadeth. Now, I think, in my opinion, Megadeth, out of the big 4 thrash metal, I think Megadeth has always had the best guitar playing. I mean, Dave Mustaine is a very underrated player himself, but he's had other greats like Chris Poland, Jeff Young, and of course Marty Friedman.
Chris Broderick more recently.
Chris Broderick, yeah, he was good. He's always had really good lead guitars, and he's good as well. Him and Him and Friedman were just incredible.
I always
Some of
love
the
how
best music.
like Mustaine was always a rhythm player,
Yeah.
but he had better leads than like almost any other guitar player
absolutely.
ever.
Well, he played lead for Metallica though. When he was in Metallica, he was the lead guitarist, and it's pretty much with Megadeth. I think it's pretty much kind of a dual lead
50-50,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, because he plays a lot of the solos. I mean, it might be the other player like that plays lead a little more. He might do more rhythms, but I think it's pretty much dueling leads for the most part. But either way, even if he was on rhythm, I'd still go with Mustaine and Friedman as my number 4. I just think they're incredible.
Why Friedman? Why the Friedman lineup? Why does that particularly stand out for you?
Oh, I think those are the best. I think
I would agree. I was just wondering why.
When he had Friedman in the band, I think they had the best riffs. I think they were the most creative. I mean, Rust in Peace. If that was the only album that they did with Friedman, they'd still be on this list.
That's my favorite album that they ever put out.
By far. And not to mention all the other great albums he was on. Just all of them are good. I like Countdown to Extinction. I like all of them. I like all the things.
Countdown to Extinction a lot, actually.
I think they're all good. I think they're some of them were kind of underrated. Anything Friedman did, I think, was great. And he's still making great music.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, when they were together, I think they were just unstoppable. They were a great pair. I remember when I read Mustaine's autobiography, he was like Marty Friedman's such a better guitarist than me. I'm so jealous and stuff. But they went really well together.
Yeah.
They were awesome.
They worked super well. The riffs were incredible. Not just the lead, but
Very
the riffs.
creative.
Like the main riff from Tornado of Souls. It's one of those iconic metal riffs. Along with Hangar 18, which has this really weird, like kind of like chordy progression in it. Really good stuff. So they're not just a solo band. They have the riffs to back them up as well, which was always something that really stood out for me. Like the riffs in Holy Wars.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. I always thought Megadeth had really underrated riffs. People always talk about how good their leads are, but they had really killer riffs as well, especially with Marty.
Oh yeah, definitely with Marty. Chris Poland's really close up there too.
Yeah,
he's definitely my second favorite. He'd probably be my.
I think with Marty Friedman, they just had something else special.
Oh yeah, they became
like it just took them to this next level. So I would 100% agree with you, 100%.
For sure. Yeah, they're my top 5 for great reason.
So my number 4 would also be another member of the Big Four, and that would be Anthrax, and this is particularly Scott Ian and Dan Spitz.
The classic lineup.
Absolutely. Now, I honestly think that Dan Spitz is one of the best guitarists in the Big Four.
Very underrated.
I think he's incredibly underrated, and I think the riffs that him and Scott Ian came up with are some of the most timeless and greatest riffs in metal history. I mean, you can literally pick any song from any album that these two were on and just find an incredible riff that'll blow your mind. I mean, some of the heaviest riffs of all time, like the riff from like I Am the Law, for instance.
Yes.
And then some incredibly fast riffs, like from Gung Ho. Of course, you have Medusa's an incredible riff. I mean, they were just riff legends. Their leads were pretty good. They weren't like sloppy like Slayer, but they weren't virtuosic like Megadeth. They were somewhere in the middle. They were more emotional solos, I would say, which is kind of funny to say because Anthrax is always more of like a fun band. But
they're more humorous. Yeah, they didn't take themselves as seriously as
some pretty powerful solos on top of these incredible chunky riffs. They brought a lot to the table. They had that street vibe that no other member of the Big Four really had. More colorful. Yeah, more colorful, more like skateboard oriented, comic book oriented. If that makes any sense at all. More
humorous, more lighthearted.
They had more fun, and it really showed in their music. Their riffs
very infectious too.
Absolutely, their riffs will just keep you headbanging from start to finish.
Oh, yeah, like Be All End All.
And then I think it does kind of help having Joey Belladonna as well. Because you get this weird effect where you have these really crazy, thick riffs with these like beautiful vocals over top.
He's my favorite thrash vocalist, and I think Anthrax has the best vocals out of the Big Four.
I would agree.
A thrash or any other thrash band for that matter. I said Megadeth had the best guitar. Anthrax has the best vocals.
I would agree.
For the record, Slayer has the best drums, and Metallica had the best bass playing. But anyway. Back to Dan
I can agree with that, actually. So, fair enough.
Yeah. I like a lot of Dan Spitz solos, like in the song Among the Living.
Yeah,
it's just such a primal, raw sounding, like colorful. I don't even know how to explain it. Just so like beautifully written. And just so like melodic and it's really moving, very compelling.
And the riffs, man. Like every time that Medusa. Opening note hits of Among the Living. You're just like, I'm in. You'll be like flipping through like on shuffle or something, and then that first note hits, and you gotta stop it. Okay, I'm listening to this whole song. This is happening.
The Enemy, Spreading the Disease, Belly of the Beast. It's so many great riffs. Like Dan Spitz and Scott were a very underrated pair. What they came up with, they contributed a lot to the metal genre.
Absolutely.
A lot more than people give them credit for.
Absolutely. And I think they were an incredible duo. That's why they're my number 4
They were
favorite.
Dan Spitz was definitely my favorite guitarist that
Yeah.
Anthrax ever
Without a
had.
doubt.
Before the
Without a
revolving door, they had like a different guy.
Recently they've had some very good guitar players.
Well, they've had some other good guys, Rob Caggiano, and
I think they finally kind of found a decent match. Pardon me, I can't think of his name right now.
His name.
But
the guy who was on For All Kings, right?
Yeah, and he's younger and he's very good.
His name escapes me at the moment, but he's really good.
He's very good, and he seems to be a very good fit for the band. Every interview I've seen with them, he fits right in. I've seen them say that they feel like he's been there since the beginning, so that's really good. I look forward to them putting out more incredible albums.
We look forward to seeing Anthrax with Slayer in 9 days as well.
Absolutely. I actually called Rob Caggiano's guitar pick last time I saw Anthrax,
awesome.
so that's pretty cool. That's before he left to join Volbeat, I believe.
Yeah, Volbeat.
Which, I'm not a Volbeat guy, but apparently from what I understand, they were his favorite band.
Oh, wow.
So if you have a chance to join your favorite band, you do it.
Absolutely.
So, anyways.
It's a shame Dan Spitz doesn't do music anymore. Now he makes watches.
Yeah, he makes watches.
He's a watchmaker, which,
to each their own.
I suppose that could be pretty metal as well. Maybe. All right, so my number 3, right?
Your number 3, correct.
My number 3 would definitely be Hank Sherman and Michael Denner from Mercyful Faith.
Hell yeah.
I believe Michael Denner, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Michael Denner also played for the King Diamond Band briefly. I know Mike Weed replaced him later on, and then he also played for the King Diamond Band. I get this a little mixed up, but either way, Hank Sherman and Michael Denner, I think, were a great twin axe attack.
I would agree.
My gosh, very underrated. You don't want to hear about them too much.
I thought about putting them on my list, but I knew 100% they were on yours. I was like, okay, we can talk about them
More
anyways.
variety,
It's cool. Let's spice it up a little bit.
Oh yeah, that classical opening of the song Into the Coven, like that classical intro, and then it goes into the awesome main riff that it gets me every time. Amazing, simply amazing. Some of the best written, most melodic riffs I've ever heard. Very musical, but very angry and very violent at the same time.
Absolutely.
Very blasphemous, but also very well written and very well composed.
Again, they get that nice advantage, kind of how Anthrax did, where they also have an incredible vocalist.
Yeah.
And when you have a really good vocalist who can soar over top these riffs you're writing, it's
just like the Holy Trinity.
Incredible.
They're made for each other. Diamond, Sherman, and Denner, they just went perfect together.
Absolutely.
They made some really killer music. I'd love to see another Mercyful Fate album, whether it's with Sherman and Denner or Sherman and Weed. Mike Weed was a great guitarist as well. I'd love to see more from Mercyful Fate for sure. But I think all their albums are great. A lot of people don't like 9. I could not disagree more. I think that album is really underrated. I think it's their best since Melissa and Don't Break the Oath.
Yeah, I think Don't Break the Oath is my
the Shadows
favorite
as well. Yeah,
that's probably my favorite album by them.
It's a close one between Melissa and Don't Break the Oath.
Melissa's very good.
But Sherman and Denner were a huge part of what made them so great.
Absolutely.
As well as King Diamond, obviously.
Absolutely.
I could never get tired of their riffs.
Their songwriting was really next level, to be completely honest.
It was something that had never been done before.
They opened the door for King Diamond to be a legend.
It was very innovative. It wouldn't have been the same if with anybody else. He surrounded himself with great musicians from the start. The Sherman Denner guitar duo is just a testament to.
Yeah, they created the soundscape, and then he painted the picture.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
they just laid the groundwork.
Incredible stuff.
Some of the best albums I've ever heard.
So my number 3 is actually one that I didn't think of initially, but then it hit me, and they wrote some of the greatest riffs in human history, in my opinion, and that's Max Cavalera and Andreas Kisser from Sepultura. The Real Sepultura. Anyways, I'm not going to get into that. So
that's another video.
Yeah, I love this duo. The riffs that they put together were some of the most memorable, heavy, and just all-around brutal in thrash metal history, period. Anything off of Arise and Beneath the Remains will just completely destroy you.
Morbid Visions.
Absolutely. If you pop on any of these albums, and you're sure to find 100 riffs that are going to blow your mind. That they're just riff machines. I mean, the solos weren't there. They're not known for that, but they are riff machines.
Some pretty good solos here and there, though.
Desperate Cry, one of my favorite riffs of all time. Dead Embryonic Cells, Arise. The riff from Arise is complete madness.
I love what they did with Orgasmatron by Motorhead.
Oh, yeah.
They almost made that their own. Like,
Yeah, that was
great
so
guitar
chuggy and heavy in that.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So
it fit
good.
that really well.
Everything they did was just mind-blowing, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Going back and listening to old Sepultura is one of my favorite things to do in metal.
Absolutely.
And it's mainly because of the riffs. They bring better riffs than almost any band in history, in my opinion. I can't think of a band that has better riffs than early Sepultura.
And they're another. That's another lead rhythm guitar duo, like Anthrax.
Yeah.
You know, Kisser's lead and Cavalera's rhythms.
Yeah, Cavalera actually. He went. I don't know exactly the period he did this, but I know he went through like a phase where he took like the 2 high strings off of his guitar.
Oh, really?
Because he never used them.
Yeah.
So he just had like
Sounds about right.
He had a 4-string guitar and he barely touched the 4th string. He didn't need to.
I think I remember reading that.
You have Andreas Kisser playing leads,
Yeah,
and then Max just brings these brutal riffs, and then
chugging.
his vocals were so aggressive, and he just knew how to write riffs to his voice, and that's something that a lot of people can't say, that they can write riffs to their voice like he did.
They're a pretty unique thrash band too. I don't think they really sound like any. I mean, there's might be a lot of imitators now.
It's
but
that
like
Brazilian
at the time,
influence.
Yeah, the Brazil.
Yeah, they had that unique twist that nobody else had.
Yeah, nobody else.
They were able to kind of throw in this tribal vibe with some of their things.
They fit like a glove.
Absolutely, and then obviously Max tried to like make that more when he made Soulfly, and it just didn't work at that point. For me, you had to do like they had to do the minimal amount of tribal with a lot of heavy thrash, and that's why early Sepultura was so good.
Absolutely.
All right, but that's
great stuff.
My number 3, Andreas Kisser and Max Cavalera.
All right, my number 2, another obvious choice, but for good reason, would be Glenn Tipton and KK Downing from Judas Priest. And do I even need to explain why? I mean,
do it anyways.
Amazing riffs, amazing, breathtaking solos that complement Rob Halford's extraordinary, phenomenal vocals perfectly, flawlessly. They get me pumped every time. You know, and even if they're like in their like kind of their 80s, like their mid 80s stuff, they're more simpler, more subtle riffs, like stuff like Breaking the Law and Living After Midnight. You got Another Thing Coming. It was kind of more simpler. You know, they weren't like as technical.
They were earworms, though.
Yeah, but exactly. I was going to say they're catchy as hell. They're still
forever,
great.
Yeah,
they're great in a different way. And I think they were a little more like musically intricate and like melodic, like in the 70s. And like maybe the early 80s, I think they were like a little. Their compositions were like a little more varied, and like their arrangements were like a little more unique and a little more compelling. But I like all their stuff in different reasons. They've gone through so many changes, and it's really a shame that KK Downing isn't in the band anymore. He was one of the founding members along with bassist Ian Hill. Now they got Richie Faulkner, and I don't know, it's just not the same. Thankfully Tipton's still there.
What do you think of their new album?
Firepower. Mm-hmm. Pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good.
I haven't listened to it yet. I've heard
it.
lots of good things about it, though.
Yeah, Redeemer of Souls is really good, too.
Yeah, I've listened to that. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I like all their stuff. I don't think they really put out a bad album. I even like Turbo and Ram It Down and Point of Injury. I even like the ones that people consider their worst. And even the 2 albums of Tim Owens, Jugular and Demolition. I think all their stuff's great. Some of the most beautiful solos I've ever heard, like in the song Dreamer, Deceiver off of Sad Wings of Destiny. Yeah. Amazing. Just it gets me every time. It's just beautifully written, very moving, very insightful. Just wow. This blows my mind. Victim of Changes, The Ripper. Also Sin After Sin, Stained Class, British Steel. There's so many albums just full of great, memorable riffs, awesome dueling leads. Memorable solos, just they were perfect for each other. They're another guitar duo that they were just made for each other. They just fit together perfectly, in my opinion. The band wouldn't be the same without Tipton and Downing, and of course Halford, who's my favorite vocalist of all time. But yeah, Judas Priest in my number 2. Tipton and Downing for good reason.
The Priest.
Sure.
I have nothing even else to say about them. They're your band. I'll let you take control of
that. I don't think I need to explain.
I'm just listening.
All I have to do is say Tipton Downing.
You're right.
That's it. Yeah. I don't need to explain why.
So my number 2 is a little bit of a change up from a classic band like Judas Priest, and it's a newer band, and it's actually a progressive metal band, and that's Mastodon with Brent Hines and Bill Kelleher.
Good choice.
Now, I truly believe that these are 2 of the greatest guitar players on planet Earth. They write some of the best riffs, some of the most progressive technical things I've ever heard, but they also just write incredible songs.
Very powerful.
One of my main problems with progressive or technical metal, in any sense, you know, be it death metal, whatever it is I feel like it loses a lot of its passion, it loses a lot of its soul. That's something that Mastodon has never done. That's why I love them so much, and it's mainly because of the incredible songwriting and the incredible guitar work of Brent and Bill.
You got great drumming too.
Yeah, absolutely. Brent is an incredible drummer. Obviously, Troy on bass. And,
yeah, great. Yeah.
You know, they all, besides Bill, all of them do vocals, so it just depends on the song. But I think to be able to put that level of like precision and progressiveness in your music while still having that much soul and heart is really a testament to how incredible the songwriting for Mastodon is. And I'm a fan of every Mastodon album. I think everything they've done is good. They started out more like dark, sludgy with Remission, and they've kind of gotten a little bit, I don't want to say more radio-friendly, but semi-radio-friendly more recently, but they're still putting out incredible stuff. Their newest album, Emperor of Sands, is actually probably my second favorite album by them after Crack the Sky. But I think Crack the Sky, if you just listen to that album on its own, is one of the biggest masterpieces, not just in metal, but music in general. I think it's one of the most well-composed, well-written albums from start to finish, be it guitar, vocals, bass, drums, what have you. It's impeccable, it's untouchable, and again, this guitar duo is a big reason for that.
Yeah, Mastodon's great.
Absolutely, and that's why I had to put them as my number 2. There's only one band I think that can beat them out when it comes to guitar duos, and I'll get to that momentarily. But Brent Hines and Bill Kelleher are incredible, and I love them to death. Mastodon rules.
Sure, yes. I highly recommend that band. My number 1, was there any doubt? Could there be any other than Dave Murray and Adrian Smith from Iron Maiden? I mean...
What about the third guy?
Yannick Gears is really good too. Now, yeah, they have 3 guitarists. Now, what happened was, okay, Adrian Smith left, I believe after Seventh Son of the Seventh Son, and then Yannick Gears replaced him for No Prayer of the Dying, Fear of the Dark, and then the 2 albums that didn't have Bruce Dickinson, they had Blaze Bailey, X Factor, and Virtual 11. Yeah, let's not get into that. Then Bruce Dickinson and Adrian Smith returned for the next album, Brave New World. Yep. And they didn't want to kick Yannick Gears out. And they said, fuck it, let's have 3 guitarists. And Steve Harris, their bassist and band leader, was even quoted as saying, I always wanted 3 guitarists anyway. So now they have Adrian Smith, Dave Murray, and Yannick Gears. So technically it's a guitar trio. But for all their best, all their classic albums, they had the twin axe attack of Smith and Murray.
I just had to have you bring that up.
Yeah. Yeah, Yannick Gears is good too, don't get me wrong. What happened was in the first album...
Give credit where it's due.
Yeah. The first 2 albums of Paul Di'Anno are very underrated, and on the debut album, the self-titled eponymous Iron Maiden album, they actually had Dennis Stratton on guitar. Dennis Stratton and Dave Murray. Then he left. And it's funny because their first 4 albums, like they had a new member each time. Each time somebody left and got replaced. Clive Burr leaving and being replaced by Nico McBrain. But yeah, Dennis Stratton left, then they got Adrian Smith, and that's when things really took off. Smith and Murray are an integral part of Maiden's sound. Again, like the others, they were made for each other. Wow, incredible. They switch off. They're dueling leads. They're beautifully written solos. The switching off, with lead and rhythm is just incredible. Watch a live video of Transylvania, the instrumental from their first album. But make sure it's the Smith and Murray lineup, and wow, just watch the way they play. It's incredible. I love watching Dave Murray play guitar. He really gets into it, like just the way he moves his fingers along that fretboard is just captivating to watch and to listen to. Murray and Smith, I can't praise them enough. They're my number 1 favorite, have been for years. I just cannot praise them enough. They're simply breathtaking in every way. Great songwriters. Even in the lesser albums, they came up with great riffs. Steve Harris is their main songwriter, and he's a huge part of that too. He's my favorite bass player after all. But Iron Maiden would definitely never reach the level that they're at now without Smith and Murray, in my opinion. And of course, Bruce Dickinson, the Air Raid Siren, who's in my top 3 favorite vocalists as well.
I think it's really impressive to have a career as lengthy as Iron Maiden's has been,
and still be consistent,
and to have no riffs that sound similar.
Yeah.
Every riff is its own unique beast.
But you can always tell it's Iron Maiden, too.
Yeah, exactly. And
that's great.
That's a really big testament to how creative this duo actually is. Like, to have this long of a career and you're still pumping out innovative new material.
You still haven't ran out of
really
ideas.
Impressive.
And in a lot of modern metal bands, you can definitely hear an Iron Maiden influence, which is definitely a good thing. If you're a band, definitely take influence from Iron Maiden.
If you're going to take influence, take it from Iron Maiden.
It's a great place to take inspiration from, for sure. And Murray and Smith are a huge part of why Maiden is so freaking phenomenal. Yeah, I just can't praise them.
I would agree. They're one of the greatest duos of all time.
Absolutely.
Hail Smith and Murray, Hail Maiden.
Up the irons.
Incredible. So, moving on to my number one. I know if you guys have watched Into the Pit for a while, you're like, okay, what death lineup is it?
Shoulder and the Rock.
It's actually none. While my bias was like, oh, we're going to put Chuck Schuldiner in there somewhere, I wanted to go with bands who had a more consistent duo for a long period of time.
You always had a different secondary guitarist.
Every album there was a different secondary guitarist, which is what they did for their sound. I love it to death. But I can't really pinpoint one being better than the other because each one was amazing in their own right.
And each one was on a different album.
So I was thinking, what band really personifies a guitar duo for me? What's it mean to be a guitar duo? And for me, it's the riffs, the solos, and the cohesion together. And to me, the band who does that the best is actually Trivium, with Matt Heafy and Corey Beaulieu. Now, they're a newer metal band. I guess they probably started in the early 2000s, late 90s. I'm not exactly sure. They've only put out consistently good material. A lot of people don't want to give them a chance, a lot of elitists, because they're a newer metal band. You're wrong.
They get unfairly lumped in with like all the metalcore
and they're not that.
Stuff.
They are completely metal 100% of the time, and the guitar work is second to literally none. I don't think there's a guitar duo, in my opinion, who's ever been better than Trivium's guitar duo. And they've had the same guitar duo since the start. The only people who have changed the band being the drummer, I believe. I think Paulo has been their bassist forever. I could be wrong about that. But Matt and Corey have been in the band since the beginning. As you all know, if you listen to Trivium, Matt is also the lead vocalist. And they have so many incredible riffs and incredible solos. There's actually a solo in the song A Gunshot to the Head of Trepidation, which in my opinion is the greatest guitar solo ever written. It has one of them playing, and then it switches the other one playing, and then they do like a guitar duo harmony. And it is the single most impressive piece of guitar work that I've ever heard in my life. It's incredible. I love every song they've ever made. They are consistently killing it, consistently coming up with new ideas, new material, putting out incredible albums. I think Shogun's their best album. I think it's their best work. That being said, their newest album, The Send the Sentence, is right there with it. It's pretty impressive that after having such a lengthy career as they've had at this point now, almost 20 years now, that they're able to put out one of their best albums, and they're constantly evolving, and they're still a young band. I mean, when they put out their first album, they were like 17. Which they were 17, and they were playing better music than I will ever play in my entire life. It's mind-blowing to me. And they consistently do it. They actually also did a song for Roadrunner United where Matt Heafy was one of the team captains. They did a song called Into the Fire, which had King Diamond on vocals, and they did dual guitars for that song. There's a DVD that came with that album that shows behind the scenes making of kind of thing. There's a video of them sitting on the couch recording the solo for Into the Fire, and it is probably the most impressive guitar video I've ever watched in my entire life. It's a really big deal if you can have something that technical, that precise, but also that powerful when it comes to an emotional standpoint. And Trivium does that every time, and I love them. They're incredible. Their guitar work, in my opinion, is second to none, and that's why they have to be my number one.
I heard they were inspired by Kirk Hammett and James Hetfield.
A lot of old stuff like that. Yeah. Cool. Also, Iron Maiden. They're heavily inspired by Iron Maiden. It shows their guitar work is incredible. If you're not a fan of Trivium, if you've never really given them a chance, do it. Check out Shogun. And I guarantee you will not be disappointed. And if nothing else, the guitar work alone, it's incredible stuff.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's it.
Hell yeah.
It wraps up our top 5 guitar duos.
We forgot to mention Wes Borland, but that's okay.
Yeah. All right, guys. But until next time, I'm Dr. Gutts.
I'm Hellhound.
And keep it metal. Thank you for watching.